Welcome to Bad Gear, the show about the world's most hated audio tools. Arturia doesn't get enough credit for creating what is probably the most relevant analog poly of the 21st century. Today, however, we are going to talk about its similarly oversized, far less universally acclaimed and much more archaic cousin, the 2017 Matrixbrute, which didn't age so well. At the first glance, Matrixbrute is ticking all the I shouldn't have ordered a Schmidt synth from a dropshipping company boxes. Mini-Moog-like hinge meets Mini-Moog-like synth architecture, with a unique sonic fingerprint of a MicroBrute and the eponymous Matrix that combines the distracting nature of Eurorack with the convenience of an in-browser game of Battleship. Everything starts with 3 paraphonically playable analog oscillators, 2 of them boasting all the features we know but not necessarily love from the synth's smaller siblings like Ultrasaw, Metalizer, and a sub-oscillator per voice, allowing you to add more overtones than even industrial artists can bear. This red-hot frequency concoction is mixed with the aforementioned third VCO, different shades of noise and an external signal of your choice before it is fed through a dual filter section based on the Marmite-sounding Steiner-Parker circuits of, for example, MiniBrute fame, and a ladder variety which, in contrast to many great Moog synths, won't annihilate your low end at high resonance settings. Both filters are capable of self-oscillation and track pitch with sufficient precision, but VCF1 seems to be plagued with pronounced oscillator bleed. Bummer. Feel free to crank drive the brute factor and or elegantly tweak both filters at the same time using the master cutoff knob. I haven't found a way to use them in true stereo. Having envelopes on faders is great, and while the 2 LFOs are slow, you can turn VCO3 into a much faster third one. Sweeten your patches with a fully analog Bucket Brigade-based FX section offering dark, noisy and grainy delay, modulation FX and a reverb, with serious chances of coming in at a close second in a direct comparison with a $20 OEM multi-effect pedal from a 2008 Shenzhen backyard. All this would have been more than enough to sell a few synths in 2017, but Arturia went all in on the Modulation Matrix. Many possibilities otherwise associated with modular synths can be realized by pressing a patch point and tweaking the encoder while marveling at the Kindle-style display. In addition to the usual suspects, you can route 4 freely assignable knobs and aftertouch from the surprisingly usable built-in keypad to a handful of synthesis staples and 16 user-definable destinations accessible through an RTFM-based button combination structure. This launchpad for aging synth nerds can also be used for somewhat sluggish preset selection, programming what doesn't seem to be Arturia's best sequencer concept, and the so-called Matrix Arpeggiator I have yet to fully understand. The slim rear panel is exemplary. It wants to be friends with your Eurorack. External signals can be set to trigger the envelopes once a threshold is passed and the synth is suffering from the usual Arturia melodies like sticky knobs, buttons yearning for an early retirement, and collecting dust on shelves because there are much more versatile and easier to operate synths available today. Speaking of, you can still buy the Noir version for the price of a Hydra Deluxe, so thanks to the great people of Signal Zirkus, a not-so-secret society of Viennese synth aficionados, for lending me an OG Matrix from their collection. With over 20 kilograms, Matrixbrute is quite a chunk of synthesizer. Can it still hold up in a market oversaturated with analog monos, or is it Arturia's big fail? You have already heard Matrixbrute in today's intro tune. That sounds like a well-maintained MiniBrute. I wanna know if we can squeeze some less conventional tones from the synth. I should have stuck to more traditional tones. It is not always easy to find a middle ground between noise and the notorious brutey brashness when cranking the oscillators, and the FX section certainly won't replace your Strymons and Eventides. Time to indulge in the overtone-rich timbre you either love or hate and explore some modulation possibilities. Well, that was almost fun. The deep integration of the sequencer into the Matrix is a powerful sound design tool, but it is quite a challenge to find sweet spots that actually sound great. In spite of the one knob per function interface, I had a hard time creating mix-friendly sounds. Let's make them fit with the power of the DAW. For this, when you put so much lipstick on a pig that it looks like a pug, surprisingly polite 140 BPM dance-off. Matrixbrute is an impressive instrument from a time when people were longing for the purity of analog, and if you don't mind the many quirks and labor-intensive hunt for its sonic jams, the synth delivers interesting tones, both brutal and cinematic. That being said, almost 10 years after the synth's release, analog purism is mostly associated with borderline unmaintainable vintage contraptions, controversially discussed novelty toys, and esoteric high-end instruments. So artists are embracing hybrid and digital concepts more willingly than ever. Speaking of which, it is fascinating that Arturia has reached a point at which their plugins have become so good that their hardware can barely keep up. Thanks for watching and see you next time! Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Feel free to like, subscribe, become a patron and use one of the links down below that support the channel regardless of what your bad gear gas commands you to buy. Cousin the 2017 Matrixbrute WHICH. Cousin the 2017 Matrixbrute WHICH. Cousin the 2017 Matrixbrute WHICH. Nein! cousin, the 2017 Matrixbrute, which didn't age so... Thanks to all my patrons for supporting the channel, and welcome to the monthly Vocoder shoutouts. I need to return this OP1 field in about 2 hours, so this might be the last chance to give the Vocoder functionality a go. Tier 4.
You're the rightest, strongest,
Tier 6. Again, thank you so much for supporting the channel. See you next month.